guys, it's Cherub and Alisha here. Welcome back to Cooking on Campus. Today, one of the skills we're going to talk about is how to tell if your food is going off. We think that this is a very important skill because not only will you save your money by throwing out products that don't need to be thrown out, but also you'll keep yourself safe, so you won't eat stuff that will make you sick, and you'll also reduce your waste. So Alicia's going to go into talking about some.
Yeah, so with our packaged food, there's sort of two ways you can tell if a food has gone off or not. So we have our best before date and our use by date. So I'm going to tell you the difference between the two of them because it's very important to know that, and they're both very different. So with our best before date, I'm just trying to find it on the packet, on the bottom here. Best before means that the food is safe to eat before this date, and after this date has passed, the food is still safe to eat, it's just not the same nutritional value and quality. So for example, this can of black beans, they can last in your cupboard for ages, and once that date has passed, you can still eat it. Just make sure that you check for any signs of sort of mold or whatever. But an important thing to note is once you open the can of beans, the date that's on this can goes out the window, and you have to check, where is it? Here it is. You have to check what it says on the back of the container. So it says, once opened, use within 3 days and store in a refrigerator. So that's important to note. Then with our use by date, this is very important to know what this one means, because once the food has passed the date, it means that it's no longer safe to eat. So this is usually found on sort of dairy products and meat products. So milk is a good example. So just make sure that once that food has gone past the date, you chuck it out and don't eat it. Otherwise, it could make you very sick.
It's also on this as well.
Oh yeah, and on the dip as well. So just sort of like dairy-based or meat-based products are usually where you find the use by date. So you're now going to talk about non-packaged foods?
Yes, alright. So for things like fruits and veggies, so the stuff that's not typically in a package, how do we know if it's gone off? So we have things like, let's say a bruised apple that's got a little hole in it, a limp carrot, floppy carrot, this is more floppy. We have some tomatoes here. So what we want to look for, any traces of mold. So if you look at this tomato, I don't know if you can see, but they have a little black spot with also some white mold, and mold can come in different forms like green, white, different colors. But then you have something like the carrot that's just gone a bit floppy, which is quite normal for aged fruits and vegetables in the fridge. Or then you have maybe some coriander that's gone a little bit discolored, limp and discolored. So what's safe and what's not safe to eat? So the tomato here that's gone a bit moldy, and it's also a very soft vegetable that has a lot of water content, this would probably be unsafe to eat. So this is one I would chuck out. Something like your limp carrot, yes, it's gone floppy and it's not going to have that same crunch if you were to eat them raw, but it's really good to use them in like stews or casseroles or soups, and they are safe to eat. Something like your coriander that's gone limp and a bit discolored, it's not going to have obviously the same nutritional value as something that's bright green and crisp, but it is safe to use, so you can again use in soups and stews. And then something like your bruised apple, it's best to probably cut a good chunk of this out. Would you reckon?
Yeah, you can just chop it off.
And again, maybe if you want to bake it in an apple crumble or a pie, because it won't be as crisp and nice as something else. Avocados are a very common one that gets black and mushy. Safe to eat, but you want to mash it up and probably hide the weird texture in what we're going to make in one of our recipes.
But a big thing is, if you do decide like the avocado might be brown and still safe to eat, but if you start eating it and it tastes gross, a good idea to chuck that out.
So always use your senses. We start obviously by looking and feeling and touching. Seeing, feeling, touching, and then it's the first one. And then if you get to the point where you're really unsure, you can take a sniff.
Might sniff the milk.
That's really good.
But if it smells really bad, then chuck it.
Yeah, and then the last thing, the absolute last thing sense you want to use to tell if it's good is by tasting it. And you can normally tell what's good and what's not good, especially milk. All right.
But I hope that was useful for you, and we'll see you next time. See ya.